Tuesday, May 21st, 2019. And we had a big old system blow up over the center of the country. I was watching this early yesterday, and we can see all the gravity waves all through this. You can see where they're focusing energy for violent updrafts. And as I've stated in many other videos, this is right where we got all these massive wind farms. Right, but we're going to take a look at the mid-level water vapor imagery. And what we're going to see on the west side of this is we got installed high pressure, and what this does is prevents this water vapor from wrapping in on itself into a counterclockwise system. Okay, and it's all sprayed over here. Take a look here. You can see all the chem spray all over this. I don't really cover the West Coast too much, but if you are interested, I'd check out one Pacific Redwood. He's pretty concise. But what this is seeding and overseeding. And when you overseed, it prevents atmospheric lift, and you need lift for precipitation to occur, which lift would be like, I guess, your updrafts or whatever. But that can happen if there's high pressure installed over it and it's overseeded. But what happens is all this, we'll also take a look at, this is Jim Lee's Climate Viewer 3D map, and this is all the cloud seeders. These red ones are ground based, and then I believe the clouds are aerial. But if it's still snowing, all of these cloud seeders are still running. So we have all this. What else do we have? And also I chose coal fire plants because we know they pump out sulfate aerosols, which make a great cloud seed, and also water vapor. And here is from the American Meteorological Society on inadvertent weather modification. Just to sum that up, they're talking about aerosols from ships and whatever else. You got airplanes and your coal-fired power plants, and it states right here, in warm, moist atmospheres, aerosols often invigorate deep convective clouds, usually resulting in greater electrical activity, stronger damaging winds, and a greater likelihood of flash floods. Studies indicate that aerosols might also modulate the intensity of tornadoes and hurricanes. So there you have it. That's from the American Meteorological Society on inadvertent weather modification. Now I shall continue. What else? I will take a look at from all these tornadoes from the past 48 hours. Most of them here in West Texas up into Oklahoma. We know they got all these fancy radars here around Norman. Well, we might take a look at the past couple of days of NEXRAD activity. Right, we've got our nightly ionization cycle. We had some interference. I covered this in my last video. Here, this is from last night or yesterday into this morning. And we had this little, not sure what caused this red signature, but what we do know is that is an electrostatic effect. So, what do you call it? Ionization, like an electron cascade happening there. It may have been the radar itself. I did not see any wind farms too close to there. There is some in eastern PA, but I don't know that they're close enough to affect that NEXRAD. And we also have space fence interference in the southeast here. This is caused by paved pause. Since I have Jim Lee's site up, I'll just go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. And what it is, it's essentially missile defense load map. And what that is a paved pause unit. It's a large, essentially radar right here. See this? That puts out 3 to 5, I think, it's early in the morning, my coffee hasn't kicked in. But anyways, it's stronger than your regular Nexrads, but there's several of these that work in conjunction under what's called space fence. Also, if you haven't read Ilana's book, I would recommend, I can't get to my tab there. I would recommend reading Under an Ionized Sky, from chemtrails to space fence lockdown, and you'll find a lot of what I'm talking about here. Essentially what this whole system is it's under the space fence, and 5G is tying all this together, the Internet of Things, and it's essentially like they can get whatever effect they want. It's like downloading an app on your phone. It's all done on computer. It's all ran on a computer. All the airplanes, the power plants, according to a numerical climate model, like your GFS, your Canadian model, so on and so forth. But yeah, and then for like the past 2 weeks, the Shaman's been kicking every night. Look at this right here yesterday. Right now it's little jumpy. What else we got going? Oh, here's something I found. I may have shared it before, but I'm not sure. Weather modification law in the U.S. This guy, what's his name? Ronald Stanler. And he did some digging, and he could only find, but this is as of 2006, he could only find 11 cases involving weather modification. Alright, and what we're seeing is either the plaintiffs run out of money, or what they're trying to find, and this does not cover inadvertent weather modification, which is your climate change BS. And then we'll just get to the conclusion down here. But what they're trying to get to is who has property rights in the sky. You know, do they want, should clouds be socialists? We'll call it socialist clouds, for the rain for the greater good? Or if somebody owns lots of land, do they have property? Do they have the rights to those clouds? I was looking for the conclusion here. But this is a good one. I'd go through it and read it, you know, just to see what happened in these certain cases. It says, it is clear that man already has the technology to modify weather, and that more effective technology can be designed. However, we need scientific knowledge to understand how and when to use such weather modification technology, so that intelligent choices can be made instead of guesswork. Civilization would immensely benefit if damage from drought, floods, hurricane, hail, tornadoes, etc. could be reduced. I'm thinking they're going the other way with this, and what's called disaster capitalism. And you know, if you know what the weather's going to do, it's like being able to see the future, right? Like futures. But before we reap such practical benefits, we need much more long-term financial support of basic scientific research on weather modification by the government. Despite the potential immense economic importance of cloud seeding and the existence of commercial cloud seeding technology since 1950, the courts in the USA have not yet begun to resolve legal issues involving either negligent cloud seeding or the rights of landowners to rain from the clouds that are either above their land or upwind for the land. I have been able to find only 11 court cases in the USA on cloud seeding, all decided during 1950 to 87, and no cases since 1987. After reading all of the reported cases in the USA on this topic, I conclude that states need to create a government agency to compensate people who have been harmed by weather modification, or alternatively, landowners need to purchase flood drought insurance. So I can agree with this here. A government agency to compensate people who have been harmed by weather modification. Now, I've personally been affected by this. I've lost my truck about 4 or 5 years ago now in a flood, total loss. My grandmother's basement got flooded out, which most of my childhood memories were in. And that's really one of the main reasons I started looking into weather modification. Then not too long after that, just south of me in West Virginia, there was a horrific flood, and I remember seeing on the news a house floating down a river on fire, and then I really started getting into this. And I believe Weather War 101 and Jim Lee's what woke me up and how I got my information. I was watching his video this morning, 5 types of real chemtrails. Didn't quite finish it, but I'll just give him a shout out, or, you know, I'm sure if anybody that's tuned in with me already knows Mr. Lee. So yeah, I just wanted to cover this ridiculous storm that blew up over the central southern plains time and time again. Like you can see it all seated right here. All seated right here, getting sucked right up in there. And then you can see all the vapor releases. Poof. So, that's, what else did I want to cover? Just a couple little side notes. I found this article was disturbing by the New York Times. Your 5G phone won't hurt you, but Russia wants you to think otherwise. That's propaganda Russia shit. It's getting fucking old. About RT America talking about the 5G. So somehow it's all linked to Russia and Putin. It's Putin that wants us not to put up 5G because they want to beat us at it or whatever. But this went on as far to say that 5G will be good for our health. It'll make our hair shiny, our nails thicker, and our skin, it'll make wrinkles go away. Why they come to this conclusion? Because Russia and China use EHF for health therapies, right? And you look right here's what 5G is, and look, it goes right up into X-rays, yeah, because, you know, fucking getting X-rayed all the time is going to be just great for us. And that's possibly related right here. U.S. birth rates fell to a 32-year low in 2018. Now this, I've been paying attention. This is the 4th year in a row. It's the 4th year in a row that life expectancy has dropped. So it's going both ways. Alright, so that's about it. You're out here. I forgot to pull up the warnings for today, but we can see where the severe weather is. Other than that, we'll check back in at a later date.